The engine itself is torn down. We kind of ran out of time. All this work was done from basically a rolling bike in one afternoon and one morning. So we've got about 8 or 9 hours we've got to this point. The internals on the engine are fantastic. We looked down inside of there. The only reason I'm really going to split the cases, I'm not expecting to find any problems in there whatsoever. I could change the crank seals if I wanted to without splitting it, but I want to split it to clean everything up and basically reseal the halves of the engine to try and stop the oil leaks, because they gave, you know, this Royal Enfield, or many Royal Enfields, the nickname Royal Oil Field for a reason. Got the primary cover off, primary drive cover off. Everything is nice and clean inside, no wear. There's only 6,700 miles on the bike, so things are not worn out at all. The clutch is not engaging to the primary drive to sprocket, so we think maybe the clutch plates themselves are maybe just stuck a little bit or jammed a little bit. They should be completely engaged at this point in time with no cable on them. Anyway, nothing serious. What else we got? Oh, back on the other side, I didn't really pan. So we've got the wheels off. Everything will have to be torn down. All the spokes out. They basically are CAD plated spokes with chrome nut tips on them, and then the rim was chromed, and then the center hub is aluminum. So I will clean and polish the aluminum center hub, probably replacement spokes cadmium and replacement nipples in chrome, and then we'll send the rim out to be chromed. This is really the only problem we had, and it wasn't a major one, to get the forks out of the triple clamps. We just soaked them down overnight with penetrating oil and came out this morning, and they popped out relatively easy. One of the nuts on the top here has beef-caked it. Maybe the plating might be coming off or something. It does not want to go in properly. One spins down by hand, the other one gets in 5 or 6 threads and gets tight. So we'll order up a couple of new top nuts and keep the good one for a spare. Rear tires all in on this bike. If you're not familiar with them, I learned a little bit too. It's a two-piece hub, where the inner hub is bolted to the sprocket, and the brake drum is actually inside the sprocket. So you can change a tire and a wheel without taking the chain off and just leaving the brake assembly and the sprocket assembly together. So the hub is actually inside here. Single leading shoe on there, dual leading shoe on the front brake. Over in the parts washer, figured we put the dirtiest, beastiest, grimiest stuff up there. So there's the rock shield that goes across the bottom of the engine. It's just an expanded piece of steel. Believe it or not, that's the kickstand, and that is a nice, will be again a nice piece of aluminum, cast piece of aluminum. Right now it is completely covered in grease and as black can be. Oil filters there, and the big oval thing is the O-ring for the primary drive cover. That exhaust tip is from the CB750, so don't get confused. That is not going on to the Enfield. And the last bit is the tank. I've just cleaned it up a little bit, taken some pictures. We'll be sending these pictures off to Ross Thompson here in Ontario, Canada. He is the guru for tank repairs. He should be able to take this and get it back to me looking just like this, brand spanking new. The Royal Enfield, you can see the Royal's pretty much gone. It's a little bit better on the other side. That's a decal, but this is actually painted racing stripe for speed and hand pinstripe down the side. So this is actually a paint. We'll get a new gas cap because that one is pretty beefed. There's one small dent in the tank too. We'll see, there it is right there. You can see the way the light's deformed there. It's not too huge, but Ross should be able to take that out and make it look perfect. Maybe fill it even just with some solder or some brazing possibly. So that's I think that's about it. I will sign off with this. Maybe do a couple updates as we're going along video, probably more on pictures as we're going along, because it only takes 8 hours to strip down. I'll spend another probably 4 or 5 hours on the engine. This is actually a quasi-unit production. case. I mean, the engine, really, I guess it's pre-unit. The engine is one piece, the gearbox is on the back end there, it's just bolted to the engine, and then the primary drive is kind of the third assembly that attaches the two. It's an Albion gearbox 4-speed, and as Dave mentioned before, the patented neutral finder, which can be kicked down with your heel, and no matter what gear, if you're in second, third, or fourth, it'll just kick you right to neutral if you pull up to a light and didn't get a chance to downshift. So I think that's about it for now. I'll finish up with that, and the next time I give an update, hopefully I'm working on parts, getting parts back in, reconditioned, rebuilt, and somewhere I've got to find time to finish off the CV750. That's still got another 15 or 20 hours in there. So that's it. Take care. Cheers.